Hello and good morning. Welcome once again to Crossfire. Crossfire is your show where we debate issues and we argue about goings on in the society. Good morning and have a wonderful time as we roll on in the show today. We have a very interesting topic to treat and we will be doing as much as we can to ensure that people get really very educated and people get informed. I have with me on the show, as usual, my co-anchor, Ishoma Againe.
Good morning, Nigerians, and you're welcome to the show.
Ishoma, what really takes a barrister to become a son?
I mean, take your time.
Yeah. I'm really taking
time on the show today. If you do not want me to go that route with you, take your time.
I know it's not from barrister to Collington. I mean, what really does it take for a barrister to become an SAN?
Listen, Dapo. You already call it lawyers Collington.
I said that was a slip of tongue.
Of course, and then you made mention of it twice. So right now,
twice?
I
was trying to say I didn't say that was not what I meant.
to argue with you because we do not want to deprive Nigerians of what we have. But then after the show, be ready to face my heat.
All right. We can do that. Like we said, we have a very, very important topic to treat this morning, and we'll be doing exactly that. Elections 2015, election offences and penalties. It's become so very obvious that a lot of people feel that as soon as they hold their PVC, then nothing can stop them and nothing can make them not to exercise their civic responsibility. But the truth remains that on the election day and probably the night before the elections, there are certain things that a lot of Nigerians, the electorate particularly, are not expected to do anymore. When INEC comes up to say campaign has stopped, there are certain expectations from all the electorates, mommy, daddies, brothers and sisters should desist from doing because of the penalties that some of these offenses attract. All right, election 2015 and then election offenses. What are election offenses and what are their penalties? Election is a process in which people vote to choose a person or group of people to hold an office or a position. Election offense is a crime that breaks electoral laws and requires a particular punishment. Penalties is a punishment that is given to as many people who have committed an offense, and in the bid for justice to take its toll, they go out of their way as an electoral body to ensure that people pay the penalties that such crime attracts. Ishoma, from a law perspective, I have come to find out that a lot of people do not even have an idea of what an electoral law is.
That's true. And well, the truth is, it's who should you blame? If you recall, when we came on the show and we talked about INEC, some of the areas which INEC they failed, because we expected that INEC would have come out to tell people, radio jingles, TV commercials, and all of that. Put it there in the paper. Let people read. Let people hear and see some of the activities. Because if you ask the average Nigerian, do you know it's wrong for you to put on a branded shirt of any political party on the day of the election? They will tell you, I didn't know.
In fact, a lot of people probably have selected the clothes they're going to wear that day.
And you and I know that ignorance is not an excuse when it comes to the law. You can't go to court and say, I didn't know. No, you can't be availed.
There's no ignorance in law.
There's no ignorance because you should know. You should know that these are. So at the end of the day, because the truth is, thank God we have this show right now. Thank God we're discussing this. But the truth is, some persons know that these things constitute offenses, but then they will still do it.
Yeah, those are the people. Those are the criminals. Electoral criminals, and they will pay very dearly.
But then the majority will tell you, I didn't know.
It's just very good to know that every registrant with a valid voter's card is eligible to vote on that day. However, there are rules guiding the electoral processes, and everyone who violates these rules is liable on convictions to be penalized as indicated in the electoral law. So we'll be taking some of these, activities that electorate anyway, maybe the big word electorate. Let me break it down. A voter, daddy, mommy, brother, sister, cousin, nephew, nieces. If you are going out above 18 and you are eligible to vote and you carry your PVC, there are some certain instructions that INEC has made available on their website to ensure that Nigerians do not commit what we call electoral crimes. Because these crimes, when they're committed, they attract huge penalties. And so if on the 28th of March, your daughter or your son goes out and they're not back, and you did not hear any big sound, it's not that he fought. He said, why did you fight? He said, I didn't fight, daddy. Why did you, who did you beat? He said, I didn't beat anybody. Who did you argue with? I didn't argue. He said, they just told me that I've committed an electoral crime. And then they will spell it out. Somebody says, is Sonny always during elections? And people will spend a long time in the queue. So all I decided to do is to use my party face cap.
That is a huge, huge crime under the electoral. It's a big crime. If you're caught, you'll be arrested, and the truth is, you'll be tried. All right, let's quickly take a look at some of this. I wanted us to just quickly say one or two things. One or two things, when it comes to the card reader. On Monday, we talked about the card reader, and we try as much as possible to be elaborate about our findings and the things that we did. And it was almost bringing an argument even between us on the success rate and the failure rate and the criteria for which, for the very first time, Mr. Kadedo came out very strong yesterday to tell Nigerians what it's expected. I was saying it. Tell us what the card reader is supposed to do. And then we can benchmark the percentage of success and the percentage of failure based on the expectation of us about the card reader. And then, look at, in Lagos, it was recorded a 52 to 48 kind of ratio. In Kano, it was 60-40. All the places that I read, I never saw any state out of the 12 states that were tested and about 358 words that the card was tested in. I never saw anybody who claimed to have recorded a 70%. But INEC came out very strong yesterday that the card reader, litmus test, they recorded 90% success. And that has become a controversy. All PDP governors are saying, no, that's not true. Because APC is saying, fantastic, we're going ahead with it. We understand why. We should also understand why the political parties are divided, because we know one part of the divide is in favor of it, the other part of the divide is against it. But now, based on what, like you and I, when we treated that issue, we saw that some of them, even for those who, came below expectation, they also came out to tell us some of the factors, the multiple, fingerprinting and thumbprinting and all of that, dirty thumbprint, so it couldn't even detect. But for those of them whose cards were rejected by the machine, they had to go to the register, and then they checked, and then they saw their details. Now, those ones were accredited. Do you think, Mishoma, I just want to ask a simple question. Do you think people will not be agitated? Do you think the litmus test scored 90%? For me, I don't think 90. I think, so why in my own opinion, 75-80. Well, that's for INEC. But in my own opinion, I'll say 75-80, from 75% to 80% success for me. Anyway. But if they say 90, well, that's for them. And don't forget, my stand about the smart card reader for the elections has not changed. Even though I have somewhat against, the reports and the validity of the, and the credibility of the results in the 12 states, because opinion differs as to what time and how and what it can do and what it cannot do and all of that, which we analyzed on the show earlier on. But notwithstanding, I am of the opinion that if the card reader is actually an antidote to rigging and to make the electionary process, free, fair, tangible, credible, transparent, and all of that, I am for the card reader. I don't have a problem with the card reader. But the truth is, in as much as we know the purpose of the card reader is to checkmate issues, to checkmate fraud, electoral frauds, you and I know fully that there are some people. It's not like it's going to be 100% credible. I don't think the elections will be 100% credible, because if you go out to the streets of Lagos and other parts of the country, they sell PVCs. Now, you and I know that on the day of the election, if you bring a PVC that doesn't belong to any slot it in and it doesn't match up, it will reject. But you and I know that what if the electoral officer on that day is compromised?
All right. Now that would take us strictly into what we have today: electoral offences and their penalties, as spelled out in the electoral law. As spelled out in the electoral law. So what we'll be doing will be to just quickly start mentioning these offenses one after the other, and then we expatiate on it, and we let you know the penalties so that you can avoid, committing any of these offenses. We'll go on a short break now, and then when we come back, we'll go into details in all the things that we have to share with you today. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. This is Crossfire. My name is Dakubanjo, and I have with me, as usual, on the show, my co-anchor Ishoma is here. And we announced earlier on when we started the show that we will be looking at election and the offenses that the electorate are likely to commit and the penalties that INEC, as an electoral body, an independent electoral body in Nigeria, has said that anybody who commits any of these offenses will definitely pay some form of penalties. And we need to quickly warn you before we start reading out these offenses that it ranges from, some form of bills in cash, and some it is straight to jail. Some it is straight to jail. All right, Shoma. A person who is in possession of more than one voter's card.
One valid voter's card.
One valid voter's card has committed an electoral offense. It is an offense for you to even hold your daddy's card.
A card that is not even your own.
Once it's not yours, don't hold mommy's card for her. Don't hold daddy's card for him. And try as much as possible not to hold your brother or your sister's card. The moment you get to the place where you want to vote, let every man hold their PVC. Please don't hold a card for anybody on the election day. It is an offense if for any reason the officials got to catch up with you and discover that you have because we were asking questions. What if I'm holding it for my daddy? What if I'm holding it for my mommy? And then we have a case of somebody who said, I'm holding it for her because she's still busy at home and she's coming later.
And most times,
please,
those are lies.
Yes, please don't come.
Lies.
The penalty the person is liable to, if you are caught with 2 valid voters' cards holding on that day, you are liable to a conviction of a maximum fine of 100,000 or 12 months imprisonment, and in some cases, both.
Yeah. You
pay the 100,000 and you still go to jail
12
for
months.
1 year.
And then, well, of course, you and I know how it is. Sometimes
and you know
they
what
could forget
the Nigerian
you.
prison,
They could forget you there.
Untried on
Sure.
and all of that.
You know you want to stay away from that. Then do not, and particularly now that we've seen situations where people have been snatching, people's PVCs, or some people have been selling theirs. I feel so sorry for you if you're caught. But the truth is, why would you want to engage in such activities? How much is it? Is it worth 100,000 naira when you're caught, or 12 months
and don't
in
forget,
prison?
Ishoma, that the undertone, the reason why we're treating this is because these are some of the things that actually make people become violent.
Yes.
In the process,
Very
because you are
true.
being caught, you think, what I've done is not a big deal. And they are telling you it is a crime. It is an electoral crime. And you begin to argue. Your friends are feeling that the agencies, the security agencies are victimizing you, and so they want to fight back. And that is how violence starts, especially on election days. And so for us, this is a very strong campaign against violence. And please, do not commit any of these offenses, because it could lead to violence.
True. And the second one is a person who applies for ballot paper in the name of some other person, whether living or dead. Of course, you and I know please give me this ballot paper. I want to give that person seated over there. The person should be on the queue. The person should stand. And you shouldn't take any, electoral material out of the polling, center. You shouldn't take it home. You shouldn't even take it to another, another axis. You should
I heard
stay
a lot
there
of people, when they make a mistake in putting their thumb, that they tear it without informing the...
Which is wrong.
Totally wrong.
But then we've seen situations, I've seen, in fact, one of my, when I started voting, I saw someone, he claimed he made, he crossed the line, and then he folded and put it in his pocket. And he was caught. And he was already trying to form smart
Meanwhile, people should know that the moment you have thumb printed on the ballot paper, whether you think it is valid or invalid, or you mistakenly voted for the wrong person, put it in the ballot box. Don't take it away from the polling booth.
Don't.
It is a crime. Don't take it away from the polling booth, please.
And when you apply for a ballot paper, under such circumstances, the penalties, now, he or she will be liable on conviction to a fine of 500,000 naira or 12 months imprisonment.
That is
and the instance
huge.
Is also
I heard that this is actually called impersonation.
Yes, it is.
It is taken
500,000. That's 500,000, and then 12 months in prison.
With the crisis in the country, where with your family, do you want to subject any uncle or auntie or your daddy or your mommy to pay 500,000? They are still struggling, to survive, pay house rent, send you to school. But here you are committing an electoral offense, and it's going to attract 500,000. And you know what? INEC, I don't know. The reason why they are so strong about this, I don't know if they want to use it. They're not Nigerians. I don't know if they want to use it to make money into INEC, but they are strict. They are very, very strict about this. And
for me, I think these penalties actually a little bit
mild.
They're mild. They should be more than this, because the stricter the penalty, it sinks at the minds of people that do not do this, do not do this.
But
so even if
still, it cannot attract any capital punishment.
Oh, no, of course not. But the truth
except
is,
somebody who snatches. Let's read on. Maybe we'll have people who snatch ballot papers, included in the. All right. Another one is a person votes more than once in an election. Somebody caught voting more than once. We have information that a lot of people have the ability and the system to erase the indelible paint that will be given to you to thumbprint on the ballot paper. And then a lot of people quickly go back home, erase it, and want to come back and vote for the second time. It is a crime for anyone, a woman, a man, young or old, to perform or get engaged in this act, and the punishment is very huge. It's going to attract a liable on conviction. This person is liable on conviction to a fine of 500,000, 500,000, or the person is jailed for 1 year. I don't see any reason why you want to come and vote for, twice. Exactly. It is one man and one vote. One man and one vote. And so if care is not taken and anybody gets engaged in this kind of an action, it could lead into serious violence, and that is our campaign. War against violence.
Now, I have here a person who forges any ballot paper or official mark on any ballot paper or any certificate of return or result form. That's because we've seen situations where people now have resorted to printing what looks like INEC's official ballot paper.
This crime, I heard when I was analyzing it, that it is actually the party agents who get engaged more.
Sometimes party agents and sometimes INEC officials.
INEC officials, okay.
Who do this. But then that does not mean that some other regular citizens also do this, especially when they've been paid. So if you're caught, now the truth is, why I like this is, you do not have any option of fine. No. You're going straight
no option of fine.
To jail. Two years imprisonment. Conviction. 2 years on conviction.
Forget about money.
So your money is not needed.
It's 2 years in jail. Your family will miss you. Every member of your family will miss you. Your friends will miss you. You will miss work. In fact, it is not even a miss work. You will lose your job.
You will be left behind.
And all of that. If you are just 18 or about 19, just leaving school, preparing to go, you already passed your JAMB, and your parents are excited that their first son or their first daughter is going to the university, and you are caught, in any of these acts, it terminates. I mean, it's just, this is like a destiny killer. Believe you me.
But then the truth is, we
2
know
years
there are
imprisonment.
some individuals who, you can call them NFF, no future ambition, NFA rather, no future ambition, particularly like those touts who say, oh, they do not have anything to lose. My brother or my sister, the truth is, if you are caught, there are situations where they will even forget you were actually existing. So they will leave you there in jail and you'll be there forever. So at the end of the day, you would not have anybody else to blame but yourself.
Anyway, we're not sounding like, we don't want it to sound like a threat, but we're just telling you exactly what has been made available as information from the Independent National Electoral Commission, saying that there are some certain actions and reactions and particular act that makes a man commit an electoral crime. And these crimes are very, very huge because they attract a lot of, punishment. Now, a person who willfully places in any ballot box any unauthorized paper or result. Peradventure, you're going in there to say, okay, we have a fake ballot paper, or you have any form of paper at all. I don't even, I can't imagine.
Any campaign poster,
or any campaign
exactly,
and you fold it. I have gone into a voting booth before, and lo and behold, the last person who came out dropped, like a handbill of a particular party. He dropped the handbill in there. It took my intervention to say that, being informed, I had to say that, how come, this particular, then it actually was a CPC, campaign poster, all these handbills they shared. And I said, somebody dropped this in there. And they said, why, that's very wrong. Because it's incitive.
Yes,
people get in there and feel that, okay, maybe this is informing us to vote for CPC. Back in the days, that was in 2011. So any person who willfully places in any or close to the ballot box any unauthorized paper or result or anything is liable to, on conviction, this person is going to jail. 2 years imprisonment, that's the punishment. 2 years imprisonment.
And then any person who gives voters money, I think I like this part, who gives voters money to vote for that individual or that political party, or refrains them from voting for any candidate of their choice. Now, he or she, when on conviction, will be liable to a fine of 100,000 and or 12 months imprisonment.
Wow,
and or 12 months
imprisonment. Very, very interesting. That's the person who gives money. Because on that day, a lot of things happen, even while people are on the queue.
I've experienced it.
They come around and they...
was like, the very elderly woman, those kind of people you see and then you want to respect. Because I was seated and then she came. That was before the accreditation process. And I stood up. Okay, Mama, you can sit. And then she came with an umbrella. And she was like, my daughter. I looked at her like, this is
another
wrong.
one I saw in 2011, while we were voting, they were coming around to, to speak into our ears. Who are you voting for? I said, it's a
Don't
party.
come close to me on that day.
I just said it's the party. He said, okay, let's have your. He said, what is your number?
Funny.
What is your number? If you give them your number, immediately they have a lot of recharge card, serial numbers that the PIN codes that they already loaded on their phone, and they will just forward it to your phone immediately. Pam.
Do not engage in
Don't
those
even
activities.
allow that to happen.
Do not sell your future. Because these are some of the things. Do not sell your future for how much? 200 naira airtime?
Maybe 200, maybe 500.
Don't even sell your
even
future
1,500,
for any amount.
Even 1,500, even 2,000, even 5,000 is not worth it.
It's not
even
worth it.
50,000 is not worth it. All right. Now, a person who within the vicinity of polling unit or collation center on election day, we have said this several times, Ishoma. Once you vote, what? Go home.
Head home straight. And
please, the moment you perform your civic right, you have voted, don't try to wait around the vicinity where you voted. Your word is not your home. It's just a location within, where you live. The moment you perform your civic responsibility, you went into the polling booth and you took your ballot paper and you vote your candidate, please go home immediately.
But also,
There is
there are some
no
people who will
after
not
election
vote.
fellowship.
Nothing.
Go home.
And
Don't
even
sit
if
in a
you know
beer
you will
parlor.
not vote, you don't have any business
Guys
going there.
are busy. The moment they do
Yes.
theirs, they go into a small beer parlor.
And they're drinking.
And they are drinking, and there, a lot of argument ensued, and then
Very
from the
true.
beer parlor it spills to, and then INEC said, whatsoever that you need to do, it should be nothing less than 300 meters away from anywhere voting is taking place.
True.
300 meters away. So if a person who within the vicinity of the polling unit or collation center on election day convene public meeting, don't convene public meeting. Don't engage with your friend. I know friends are going to meet on that day in their various words, and immediately after the election, they want to start analyzing what is happening, how is it, and all of that.
To discuss
This is not the time. Don't convene any public meeting. Don't make unauthorized official announcement. Don't even make the mistake of saying, you know what, I think it's PDP that is going to win this election. You know what, I think it's APC that may likely win this election.
Wrong.
From what I'm saying, what are you saying? Don't say anything. Go home. Go home. Don't make any unauthorized official announcement. Don't wear or carry any badge, poster, banners, flag, or symbol relating to any political party. Don't even try it.
But the truth is, I do not quite agree with the penalty.
Now, my concern is this. What if I'm putting on a shirt that is red and green? I knowing fully well
is
that...
Is that the only shirt you have? No, you have black. You can dress in black.
But it's going to be sunny on that day, Shama. It's going to be very sunny.
Other color, but the truth is, because you
white t-shirt.
You will not begin on when cut. You will not start explaining to the magistrate or whoever it's.
I think the major thing is that make sure your t-shirt is not multicolored.
Don't put on anything that it's affiliated or that can connote.
I can put on a green t-shirt or a red t-shirt, plain red t-shirt, plain green.
But then don't put
not
on
a green and a red and
red, white, or whatever color. No. Or don't even put on anything that's branded. Or don't even carry the symbol on that day. Don't come and tell, oh, sun is hot, so I decided to take an umbrella. Hello, you won't die for standing under the sun for that day. There are so many buildings with shades that you can go and stay under. But don't come and tell me, oh, I feel like sweeping, and then you come out with a broom.
But shouldn't INEC even make provision for some rentals, like canopies and chairs and all of that? Yeah?
They do, because
no, I don't think so. In 2011,
I know during my
we did it. In 2011, we did it. Guys in the area were just like, this is so sunny.
But
let's go and get some canopies and some chairs.
I know that was what happened during at my own ward. In fact, it was even the political parties then, the predominant they came together. They contributed money. These two rival political parties, they contributed money, and they went and then they
I don't know how much of a crime this will be. I remember that day in 2011, some guys, they came, they took about 8 to 10 chairs, they sat down, they put a bottle of brandy in the middle, and they shared cups, and they were, gisting. It was peaceful, quite all right. They sat down, they were not interfering with people, but they were just gisting and all of that, very close to where the election.
Of course,
it is wrong this time. I know about a conference that was held, and all of these things were completely, disabused. People should not do it. Please don't form any circle, don't form any gang, don't group up somewhere to have a conversation, or let's quickly share some drinks. Please, it is essential.
And don't even try to bribe the security agents on that day, because we know that some individuals who can't see alcohol.
No, but on that day, a police officer went there and they gave him some drink.
But then we hope, and we're saying it now, and we also hope that
some security officials went to meet them and they gave them drink.
We also hope that
they drank.
They've been trained also not to participate in such activities.
Okay, I hope some of these things are getting across out there, and we believe very strongly that a brother is hearing us and watching us, and you want to tell your sister, you want to tell your brother, you want to inform daddy and mommy at home about all of these offenses and their penalties. All right, at this point in time, we'll go on a short break, and then when we come back, we will give you more points and more, that's on penalties and the crimes that INEC is warning the electorate to stay away from. We'll be right back. And we're back, and this is Crossfire. And we've been dealing with electoral offenses and their penalties. We have gone through a couple of lists, and we will still go ahead and give you more information about such crimes that qualify, or offenses that qualifies, for electoral offenses and what they attract as penalty. And we're using this medium to let you know that INEC is speaking really very strong against some of these offenses, and they promise that anybody caught in any of the acts, performing or engaged in any of these acts will be disciplined and will be dealt with. And so the last one we were talking about before we went on the short break is a person who within the vicinity of polling unit or collation center on election day should not convene, especially when elections are over. What are you doing around the polling unit?
During, and
what
after.
are you doing around the polling unit? Don't convene any public meeting saying, okay, they are counting. We want to hear who they will. They're not reporting to you. The electoral officers are not reporting to you.
Of course
Don't
not.
tell us, have you finished counting? Have you finished counting? Who won? Things like that. So it is not allowed. You cannot and you should not, make any unauthorized official's announcement. Even if you have heard it very loud that they are saying APC or PDP or NCP or Hope or COA, and you're like, they called a lot of COA and therefore this is, don't make any unauthorized official announcement. Don't wear any or carry any badge, poster, banner, flag, or symbol relating to any political party at all. The punishment is 6 months imprisonment and without any option of fine.
Every such offense.
So if you are being caught to have engaged in a public meeting, it's 6 months. It's 6 months. If you commit that offense, it is 6 months. If you do an authorized official announcement, it is 6 months. If you wear any material on that day that is showing that you are still, engaged in electioneering, then there's a major problem. Okay, let's go to the next one.
A person who acts or incites others to act in a disorderly manner on the day of the election. That is, people who say, make comments or make the people agitated to wanting to resort to violence or any form of disruption of the process. For example, if the accreditation officers, they arrive late, and then you see one person is there making statements, stupid INEC, this one, whatever, and you see...
What are they keeping us here for? We've been here for a very long time. We've been here for a very long time, and they're just delaying us. What is this nonsense?
Exactly, because issues like that,
inflammatory statements
can make the people agitated. Then next thing, people moving, begin to make negative statements. Or if you now begin to talk about talk about the state of the nation, PDP has failed. APC has this.
All right, let's quickly take this call.
Statements like that are not allowed.
Hello, good morning, Usman.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters.
How are you today?
I'm fine.
Great.
Hope everything is going on well in Lagos.
We thank God.
It is.
All right. We are advocating for change.
You said?
We are advocating for change. I hope the president will not sack us from Nigeria too.
Well, today on the show, we are not advocating for change. We are educating Nigerians on electoral offenses.
We are partisans. I don't know if Choma belongs to any political party, but for me, I don't.
So now, what I'm saying is this. Were there no electoral violators in 2011? What was the outcome of the panel then that they set up? We didn't hear anything.
Now, Usman, I'm glad to announce to you that this time around, a lot of bodies have been put together to ensure that people who engage in electoral offenses are well disciplined. And this coalition is not about some civilians just looking at it that, okay, let's allow him to go.
Even foreign bodies also.
Foreign bodies are involved, and the military, they are involved. One was launched yesterday, and I tell you, Usman, it is, anybody caught this time around will be, very punished.
My brother, not today.
Well, today's a new day.
For long. You've been hearing
It's a
this
new
for long.
dawn, Usman.
Today is a new
I
day.
hear
I
you.
see you as a very balanced, as a pro-Nigerian,
Yeah.
and I tell you the truth. Your comments on this show has been very, very beautiful. We enjoy it a great deal, and I don't want to
lose
believe
hope.
that you will
Don't
incite
lose
anybody to
hope.
go,
No.
go and commit any, electoral offense.
No.
Hoping
You
that
Yeah, I will.
don't worry, nothing will happen.
Sure.
Good.
So my own belief is that in this country now, we are having two laws, one for the masses and one for the rich and the wealthy one. It's only when the poor commit offense, that's when you hear them on TV. But when those that have background commit an offense, you don't hear their name any longer.
It's covered up.
Okay, so
That was
what
good.
I'm saying, do you remember? Sometimes ago, you guys mentioned something about what and what might hold and what might not hold.
Yes.
Yes.
The election,
What
Jega
not
might
to
hold the
expect.
election, and Jega might not hold the election. You understand?
Yes.
The election might hold and election might not hold.
Yes.
The insurgency might be caught and the insurgency might not be caught.
Correct.
So that's my belief concerning what is going on in Nigeria now. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very
Thank you
much,
so
Usman.
much.
Thank
Well,
you very
like
much.
what Usman said, Usman should understand right
All right.
now.
Let's take this call,
Okay.
Shoma. Adeset, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
How are
Good
you
morning.
today, and how is Lokoja?
Our Lokoja is doing cool.
All right, go
How
ahead
is
and make your
Lagos?
contribution.
All right. The problem there is that now there is a place for the rich. There's a prison for the rich and a prison for the poor. If these people are arrested now, you hear the godfathers will later come out and take off their men and leave the innocent ones that they claim. They just bring out some people. So now, what INEC should do is that is all these things, is all these laws that they are bringing out, is it going to work out?
Yes.
If
We
it's going
believe.
to work out, fine, okay. Don't delay these people. When they come that day, don't delay them. You too, if you come on time in order to help the situation of this. If you don't want people to talk in a rude manner to you guys, then you come out at the appropriate time, do what you're supposed to do, so that at least these people will not come out and start saying something. That's the issue.
Great, Ade.
True.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much. Valid
Thank you
point.
so much.
Valid
God
point.
bless you.
You know.
But Nigeria should also understand that. Look at the situation, also the judgment, Lauren Gbagbo of Ivory Coast being handed 20 years in prison for his actions, as president.
It took
the
a
whole
long time
war,
to
exactly,
really finish that guy.
But still, he's facing it. He's facing, the punishment. Nigeria should also understand that you have the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, which govern situations like this that lead to public violence, particularly for political and office holders. So do not say there's a court where the rich are always shielded and covered. If you do not, if you believe a politician or someone in
but
office
sincerely,
has done something wrong,
I believe
you
in that.
petition.
I believe, or I belong to that school of thought, Ishoma, that that there is one. I mean, one case is the case of delayed judgment. Another case is is wrong. When you don't get justice. And all of that. So
that happens in every society.
all right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning. We lost that call.
But then the truth is, Nigeria shouldn't lose faith, shouldn't lose hope. Yes, things may have been bad, but look, we are all here clamoring for a new reorientation, a new Nigeria. So do not lose faith, because if you lose faith, then how do you think things will get better?
Anyway, for me and for you, we want to have a free and a fair and a credible and transparent elections. And so everything that we are doing is to make sure that we have one. Savior, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
how are you?
morning.
I'm fine.
All right, go ahead and make your contribution.
Okay. Morning.
Hello,
I'm
Savior.
fine, and you?
Hello.
Yeah, I really, really love the enlightenment people are creating through your media.
Thank you.
However, in Nigeria, things happen.
Yeah,
Even the unnecessary do happen.
yeah.
So it's one thing to introduce these penalties. It's another thing to carry them out as expected.
Because like the other court has said, the bourgeoisie, once they commit these crimes, it's being covered up. But when the poor man does it, it's not covered up. So it's as if the law is meant for the rich and the big people in the society, and then we the poor masses are there to be used as scapegoats for the rich and the crimes they commit. So if these legal rules are being carried out as expected, then I strongly believe that the Nigeria we are applying for will definitely be great, because I believe in my country.
Yeah.
And because I believe in my country, I strongly believe that somebody else somewhere is also believing in the country, except and until we begin to do things right. I strongly believe that things will.
All right, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
But Nigeria should please
Yeah,
understand.
thank you very much,
Having
Xavier.
a new Nigeria starts from you saying, I will do what I'm expected to do. I will tell the next person to do what is right. Forget about whether the rich are always being. No, we need a new country.
All right.
You start from obeying the law.
All right. Daddy, tell mommy. Mommy, tell your children. And then brother, talk to sister. Sister, talk to your brother. I believe that if each and every one of us become our brothers and our sisters keepers, this information will pass around and then people will do the right thing. We want to say a very big thank you to everybody who has made today's show a very successful one, and all the people who make their contribution. Thank you, and stay out of trouble. Our campaign is war against violence. No violence at all.
Discipline.
Pinching on election day is actually violent. He's violent.
Really?
Yes,
So
sir.
I can't kick you now.
Don't kick, don't pinch. Just be peaceful, and Nigeria will not fail. That's our prayer.
And then we'll continue from where we
We stop.